All right, so it appears Counterside is getting EOS soon, and before we go any further, it sucks because I remember when this game first came out, I played it a lot, and it's unfortunate that it is getting EOS. Hopefully, they do an offline version, but they might. But we'll have to read this to see what happens. All right, so Counterside EOS announcement. Studio B-Side has announced that Counterside will be ending service on August 26, 2026. However, the studio claims that the story isn't over and will only be paused. Counterside is set to come back at a later date as a reboot project. Kind of stinks since I was originally here at the start of the SCA server under Z1 game and stayed with the game even with the merger to the global server. Hopefully the reboot will actually come to fruition. Okay, that's something. I think that's the first time we've ever, a game said it was EOSing, but it was coming back as a reboot. I guess let's read more into this. It's gonna be a weird thing for me to title this. Not gonna lie. Okay, notice announcement. This is Ryu Jamate, CEO of Studio B-Side. Counterside made his first appearance in February 2020. It's been 6 years since this game has been around. It does not feel like it. Wow, that's I swear I recall playing this earlier than 2020, but anyways. Over the past 6 years, we have laughed together, grown together with countless CEOs. Every movement planning, monthly development roadmaps, delivering updates every week, and sharing conversations through live streams and broadcasts has been a genuinely precious memory for us. Though we are filled with regret, after extensive internal discussion, we have reached the conclusion that the time has come to pause the story of Counterside. We sincerely apologize for arriving at this discussion without having been able to fully repay the love and support you've shown us. Counterside is scheduled to end service on August 2020. Oh my god, August 26, 2026. Alongside the end of service, Cafe Strega, that's not what this is, Cafe Strega, whatever. I'm gonna say Strega, which has strived to serve an offline gathering space and a comfortable haven for Counterside community, will also be bidding a bittersweet farewell. However, this is not the end of Counterside's story. Counterside is planning to return in the form of a reboot project following a period of reorganization and renewal. Through the reboot project, we intend to revisit the very foundations of Counterside and share the results over our deep reflection on what Counterside as a hard-boiled urban fantasy should truly be. It's a weird way to describe something. We are not yet in a position to confirm what form these efforts will ultimately take. We will do our utmost to deliver a outcome that honors the path Counterside has walked and repays the love you, our CEOs, have given us. Okay. Again, I do think this is interesting that this is happening because usually whenever a game does EOS, either they keep the servers open or they just say, hey man, thanks for the memories. Some might have been not so well, but we're out of here. So it is really interesting that basically they're saying we're shutting down the servers, but we're coming back sooner or later. Again, I think more companies should do this instead of just being like, yeah, guys, thanks for playing the game for 10 years. Fuck you. Goodbye. But that's just me. That's just me. I think more people agree, but hey, what do I know? I'm just a guy. I'm just a guy. I'm just a silly guy. Anyways, let's read what these comments are saying about this. Even though I don't play them anymore, hearing EOS news of gotchas I used to play always stings a bit. Very true. Very true, because I have not played Counterside in a very long time. And you think I would, because the game is cool. Well, it's cool, whatever you want to say. But it was just one of those things to where either I just stopped playing for a little bit, and I just never got back into playing it, or I just stopped because I got stuck somewhere. I don't remember, to be honest. But I know it's been a really long time since I've sat down to play Counterside. But yeah, I was kind of hoping for any way to preserve some account information or even an offline mode, but moves like that are few and far between. I guess it's a daily login until August 2026. I mean, people might preserve it. People might preserve Counterside 1, but I don't know. I don't know how big the fan base is for the game for someone to do all that. I've been playing since the start of the SEA, and I personally think the story is the best part of this game. Probably a controversial take, but I wouldn't mind a Counterside 2 game with a continuation of the story and a new fresh gameplay, kind of like GFL 2 succeeding GFL 1. Was that Girls Frontline? Yeah. Well, the day has finally come. Game gave a lot of good memories. Got to meet a ton of online friends because of it too. So I'm thankful for all of that. I love Counterside, and it's truly a shame that it ended up like this. But alas, such is the fate of gachas that run its course. Yeah. Yeah, but again, I wouldn't be too sad because apparently we're getting Counterside 2. So it does suck. You know, it's kind of like saying to a Brave Frontier player, like, when Brave... Can't use this example, but it was like when we got Brave Frontier 2 and people thought, me included, that Brave Frontier 1 was going to shut down so they could work on Brave Frontier 2. Obviously, that didn't happen because Brave Frontier 2 shut down very shortly after it came out, which I think if Brave Frontier 2 came out globally, I think it would have did better because more people would have played it. And so because Brave Frontier 2 was a very interesting spin on Brave Frontier. You were able to buy units instead of summoning for them. It was just a lot of stuff that could have been cool, but I guess trying to work on 1 and 2 of Brave Frontier just too much for gunning. So they're like, well, we got shut down 2, and then we're going to shut down 1 7 years later, or however many years later. Please come back as a non-gacha RPG. There is a offline archival project that made big strides in progress. Offline was playable. Ooh, okay, well, never mind. Someone is preserving it. Sweet. For anyone currently playing Star Survivor, it is worth the sacrifice in the sense that I heard it was some sort of sequel to Counterside. If it's a good sequel, at least there's more hope, right? I played a lot of Star Survivor. Didn't feel too much like a sequel, to be honest. More accurate calling it a spin-off, even that is kind of a stretch. They've done collab characters with Counterside, but the relation to the story is non-existent. Sad to see it go, but I'm not surprised in the slightest from what I've heard of late. I played it casually between global launch up until a couple years ago when I realized I was just logging in for the dailies and didn't really care for the gameplay anymore. It also crashed all the time on my iPad, getting worse with each update, so those guild raid thingies were extremely painful to do. I remember enjoying the bits of story I got to play through, and the sad that remaining player base never forgot to see it through to the end. If they end up bringing it back as a standalone buy once type of game, I'd gladly buy it, but I don't see myself playing any more live service games from this studio. I'm gonna be honest. The only thing I remember about this game is that they did a HoloLive collab many years ago, and I think I had to buy the skins. I think the skins were kind of expensive. Honestly, I think that's the last time I played the game. I think after that I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna not play this no more. Yeah. I do think if they did do kind of like what they did with Final Fantasy, Brave Exvius, would I buy it? I don't know. I guess it would depend on how much it costs, but if they're charging like $60 for this, no. Absolutely not. That's a lot of money for a mobile game to be ported onto consoles. No. With $60, I could buy Persona 5 again, and probably something else. And at least if I rebought Persona 5, that's at least 80 hours. With it, no, I wouldn't do that. But that's just me. Some people probably would, but I wouldn't. Eversoul, Ash Echoes, and now Counterside. Perhaps Snowbreak soon to go after. This year's a graveyard of lots of gachas. Competition is fiercer than ever. I mean, I don't think it's competition, honestly. Well, it probably is competition, but I don't know. It could just be the companies are like, the games aren't making enough money to keep the servers on, so it's probably better to turn them off. I don't know. I don't know, because, like, what other big stuff has came out this year? Not really anything, as far as I'm aware. So I don't think it's that. I just think, again, they don't want to keep the servers on if they're not remaking back what they made to like make characters and stuff. I think that's what that is. Is a reboot going to be like one of those relaunches of older gachas that are just the same shit, but they add another world? Under the words of the title, they just need to re-release some sort of a conclusion to the story, in my opinion. Even if it's a standalone visual novel or something, if they did re-release and everyone had to start from zero again, wonder how many people would actually play. Imagine your years of hard work collecting all of the SR/A SSR characters, and then they're like, well, it's a reboot, so they have to collect them all over again. I'm looking at you. I don't know what this is. I mean, I agree. It's kind of like with Bloodline, because that game's been back for a really long time, and the old one like shut down eons ago. I think like almost 10 years ago, and Crunchyroll bought it back, and obviously you had to start from scratch, which sucks because from what I remember, I think on my old Bloodline account, I think I had some pretty decent characters, so it did suck having to start all the way from scratch. But it sucked, but I was like, at least I'm able to play this in the big whenever the game came out, because I don't remember. But yeah, I want a bit. There probably will be some people who would do that just to be able to play the game. But yeah, me, I don't know about that one. All right, I think I'm done reading comments. But yeah, to wrap up, Counterside, I guess 1 is shutting down. We're gonna get Counterside 2 eventually, or like something sooner or later. But yeah, did you ever play Counterside? What was your favorite moment in the game? I don't know how to end this shit. But yeah. So fly high, Counterside 1, and hopefully Counterside 2, you'll be just as good or even better than the first one.